J. French, the iconic guitarist and co-founder of the glam metal band Twisted Sister, is no stranger to bold statements. Known for his unapologetic opinions and the band's anthemic hits like We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock, French recently sparked controversy by labeling Nobel laureate Bob Dylan as indecipherably bad. This critique, while provocative, offers a window into the clash of musical philosophies between Dylan's poetic abstraction and Twisted Sister's bombastic, crowd-pleasing ethos. Beyond the headline-grabbing remark, French also shed light on Twisted Sister's ingenious strategies for forcing audiences to engage with new material during live shows, a tactic that defied industry norms and cemented their legacy as masters of theatrical performance. This article delves into French's critique of Dylan, explores the cultural divide between their genres, and unpacks how Twisted Sister turned reluctant crowds into willing participants in their creative evolution. J. French's critique of Bob Dylan, a clash of musical worlds. In a recent interview with Ultimate Guitar, J. French didn't mince words when discussing Bob Dylan. I find him indecipherably bad. I don't understand the appeal. At first glance, this seems like sacrilege coming from a musician whose band thrived on simplicity and primal energy. Dylan, after all, is a cultural titan whose lyrics have been dissected in college courses and earned him a Nobel Prize in literature. But French's critique is less about dismissing Dylan's legacy than it is about rejecting the aesthetics of his delivery. French's disdain centers on Dylan's vocal style and lyrical obscurity. Music should connect immediately, French argued. When I hear Dylan, it's like listening to someone mumble through a crossword puzzle. Where's the hook? Where's the power? For French, whose career was built on anthems designed to ignite arenas, Dylan's abstract storytelling and nasal, non-traditional singing voice represent the antithesis of Twisted Sister's mission: to create music that demands fist-pumping, sing-along engagement. Dylan versus Twisted Sister, a genre divide. The tension between French's perspective and Dylan's acclaim underscores a broader cultural divide. Dylan emerged from the 1960s folk revival, where lyrics were paramount, a vehicle for protest, poetry, and existential introspection. His work, like Blowin' in the Wind or like a Rolling Stone, prioritized metaphor and ambiguity, inviting listeners to project their own meanings. Twisted Sister, by contrast, belonged to the 1980s glam metal scene, where immediacy reigned. Their songs were crafted for clarity, with shouted choruses, power chords, and themes of rebellion tailored to teenagers. As French put it, we weren't trying to be Shakespeare. We were trying to be the soundtrack to your middle finger. This divide reflects deeper debates about artistry versus entertainment. Dylan's fans celebrate his enigmatic genius. His live performances often feature rearranged, almost unrecognizable versions of his classics, as if to challenge audiences' expectations. Twisted Sister, meanwhile, embraced consistency. Their concerts were high-octane spectacles where fans expected to hear Stay Hungry's hits delivered with precision. For French, Dylan's approach risks alienating listeners. If your audience needs a decoder ring to enjoy your music, you've failed. Reactions to French's critique. Unsurprisingly, French's comments ignited backlash. Dylan devotees accused him of philistinism, while music historians noted that Dylan's influence transcends genre. Yet French's stance resonates with a segment of rock purists who value visceral impact over literary pretension. As metal journalist Liz Ramanund observed, Twisted Sister's music is a sledgehammer. Dylan's is a scalpel. French isn't wrong to prefer blunt force, but that doesn't negate Dylan's craftsmanship. Twisted Sister's live strategy, forcing new material down crowds' throats. In the 1980s, Twisted Sister faced a dilemma common to many bands: how to promote new material when fans only want the hits. Audiences would yell for "I Wanna Rock" the second we walked on stage, French recalled. If we played something unfamiliar, they'd head to the concession stands. This problem was exacerbated by the rise of MTV, which turned music into a visual product. Bands were expected to replicate their videos note for note on stage, leaving little room for experimentation. The no-escape tactic. Twisted Sister's solution was as brazen as their makeup. They structured their sets to trap audiences into listening. "We'd open with 3 hits to get everyone pumped," French explained. Then, when they were screaming for more, we'd hit them with 2 new songs back to back. By the time they realized what was happening, we'd jump into another classic. They had no choice but to ride the wave. This strategy exploited the crowd's momentum, using their adrenaline to make unfamiliar tracks feel like part of the journey. The band also leveraged their theatricality to sell new material. During performances of You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, 1983, frontman Dee Snider would introduce unreleased songs with over-the-top monologues, framing them as secret weapons against critics. Stage props, smoke machines, flashing lights, and Snider's signature confrontational banter distracted from the fact that audiences were hearing something new. "We treated every song like a hit," Snider said in a 1985 interview. "If we acted like it was awesome, the crowd believed it." Case study: Come Out and Play, 1985. Twisted Sister's most infamous experiment came with their 4th album, Come Out and Play. Despite its lead single, Leader of the Pack, underwhelming commercially, the band insisted on playing multiple tracks live. During their 1985 tour, they sandwiched Come Out and Play's title track and Kill or Be Killed between anthems like The Price. While some fans bristled, others were converted. "I went to hear Burn in Hell," recalled longtime fan Mike Stanton, "but by the end, I was screaming along to You Want What We Got." They brainwashed us with sheer energy. While Come Out and Play flopped commercially, the tour solidified Twisted Sister's reputation as relentless performers. Their tactics influenced later acts like Metallica and Guns N' Roses, who similarly mixed new material with hits. As French noted, "You have to train your audience to trust you. If you give them a show that's 10% new stuff and 90% fire, they'll accept it as the price of admission." French's critique of Dylan raises questions about the role of accessibility in art. Dylan's Nobel Prize celebrated his lyrical depth, yet his commercial peak ended in the 1970s. Twisted Sister, meanwhile, prioritized immediacy but became pigeonholed as a party band. This dichotomy reflects a tension in music. Is the artist's job to challenge or to entertain? For French, the answer is clear. If you're not connecting, you're just talking to yourself. J.J. French's blunt assessment of Bob Dylan and Twisted Sister's guerrilla live tactics reveal a band unafraid to defy expectations. While their methods may seem antithetical to Dylan's cerebral approach, both artists share a common thread: a commitment to authenticity. For Dylan, that meant ignoring commercial pressures. For Twisted Sister, it meant refusing to let audiences dictate their creativity. In a world where music is increasingly fragmented, their stories remind us that greatness isn't defined by genre. It's defined by the courage to stay true to one's vision, whether through a snarl or a sneer.